for Chelsea this weekend, John. I want to quickly get your thoughts. Jamie Carragher, of course, never shy in coming forward as Jamie with his thoughts and his opinions. He's come up with this idea that Arsenal are starting to morph into a José Mourinho Chelsea side. He's talked about defensive stability, despite the fact Arsenal have not kept a clean sheet in 6 in the Premier League, but that's by the by.
Yeah.
Gabriel Saliba, 2 big boys, best centre-half pairing, I think we'd all agree, in the Premier League. Mikel Merino's come in, big physical specimen. He's building a strong side. He's trying to build on defensive solidity. He's made that comparison. Do you see it, John, or is Jamie Carragher talking a load of codswallop?
Listen, Jamie Carragher, really, I don't sometimes take what he says on board. I mean, listen, a fantastic player, a guy who played for, had a good career with Liverpool.
Set piece reliance. I mean, he's talking about the fact they scored a lot of goals from set pieces. They're a strong physical team.
Yeah, they look like the team, obviously, like back in the day when we were at the club, at Chelsea. It looks like a kind of a Mourinho kind of team. Tall, physical, strong, and quick as well. Obviously, they've made the set piece their sort of
their thing,
weapon of scoring goals. But I don't want Arsenal Football Club. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Mikel Arteta's had about 700 to 800 million he spent at the football club.
You're just under 700.
Exactly. And he's been there for 5 years.
It will be 5 years in December.
Yeah, to make your weapon set piece. For me, that's you should by now build a way, have a system of how you score goals and not just by set pieces.
Yeah.
And of course, the set piece, I've said it. When I've been on Bein Sport, I've said it. That is illegal. For me, those goals should not stand.
What they're doing to the goalkeeper.
What they're doing to the goalkeeper is illegal. I don't think that should stand. Because those players have no intention of playing the ball. What they're there is to
pin the goalkeeper
down, obstruct the goalkeeper from coming out, and not just obstruct, they actually block him.
Yeah.
So if a goalkeeper is trying to come out to claim, there's no chance. I mean, Ben White does that all the time, gets away with it all the time. It's incredible. Not just him, Saliba also, both of them come and impede the goalkeeper from coming out. For me, that's illegal. And what I've said is that the Premier League, the referees should cut that out. They need to stop it right now, because if they don't, a lot of the clubs are going to start doing it. Now they've started doing it to Tottenham goalkeeper.
Yeah, Vicario.
Because every club now knows that if we put player on him
and drop the ball
there, he's not going to come out.
Yeah.
And from the rules that came out before the league started, if a player has no intention of playing the ball, automatically, that's sort of a foul.
Yeah.
And especially goalkeepers. And for me, I just think when Arsenal use that as their weapon, I think Mikel Arteta should find a different way of scoring goals. I think they're a fantastic football club. They're doing well. They have great players. They have great strikers. I think what Arsenal what they are missing right now is a captain, Odegaard. Everybody can see that. Since he got injured, I don't know what the stats is, but the chances that Arsenal have created must be less.
Yeah,
he's that player that always finds a way, picks the pass in between the lines, that creates those chances, that always creates this 2v1 with Bukayo Saka and makes it so dangerous for defenders. So for me, they've missed him so much, and I think that's something that Arsenal are missing. If he comes back in the team, I think Arsenal will become a better team.
You know who else they're missing? Victor Gyökeres, a focal point. Alexander Isak, who has had a wonderful time in the Premier League. I think it's 37 Premier League goals in 60, or 34 Premier League goals in 60 matches for Newcastle, which is a great return, more than 1 and 2 for a side that is battling for a top 6, top 4 ideally. I think it's a real good return. But a Gyökeres and an Isak in that Arsenal team, and I think when I look back on it now, and hindsight's a wonderful thing, they should have absolutely gone out and got a number 9 in the summer to add that different dimension to what they're doing. Because you know what dawned on me recently, John? You look at Arsenal's starting 11, and I want to get your thoughts on an Arsenal and a Chelsea merged 11 in a moment. When you look at Arsenal's best starting 11, it's the same side that came up short last season against City.
It is.
It's Raya in goals. Okay, Calafiori.
Moreno has been starting games now.
Because of Odegaard, but Merino doesn't start. That would be Partey and it would be Rice. With Odegaard.
Yeah.
Martinelli, Saka, Havertz.
But you know how Mikel Arteta is, though. If he brings in a player in the team, he wants that player to start. So I know you're talking about Partey, but the way now he's trying to bring back Declan Rice to be that holding. But when I look at Declan Rice, what he did last season is what Arsenal need. He's a ball carrier. He's a box-to-box player. When I watch him a couple of times now lately, he's not really good. He wants to go because he has the legs. Yeah. He can carry the ball. He can run forward with the ball. And that's something. Sometimes when you have that player who can carry the ball, it relieves a lot of pressure from the team and everybody can push forward. Right now, Arsenal don't have that player because he's now the player who's sitting. So I think like you rightly said, he needs Thomas Partey to sit there and he has to go. And then Odegaard. But he's brought in Moreno. I'm pretty sure he wants him to be starting.
We watch with interest on that.
Yeah, we watch with
Calafiori, maybe he's the one instead of Timber, but Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel, it's basically the same team. And I can't help but think, if you're going to close that gap to City, maybe that was a bit of a blind
spot. If Arsenal have a Eucharist now, they win the league.
You reckon?
I think they win the league. I think... Listen, the guy is a scoring machine.
Yes.
His goal ratio is absolutely madness. I know we talk about Haaland, but
we can talk about Højlund if you want as well. He doesn't score as many goals.
No, but I think he's a kind of a Haaland kind of player. But whoever gets him next season, they get in a top striker. If it's Chelsea, if it's Arsenal, I don't think City will get two similar kind of strikers, but whoever gets in between Arsenal,
United,
Chelsea, or United, I think they get a top striker. So yes, Arsenal need a striker, but of course Kai Havertz has done really well. He's done well. He's turned the corner because everybody doubted him when he came to the football club. Everyone was saying how bad he is, but he's turned the corner. He's starting scoring goals, creating chances, getting players, bringing players, into the game. So I think he's done really well. But again, like Arsenal, you need a top striker. You need that competition. You need at least two strikers who will compete with each other. Because at the end of the day, goals win you games.
Yeah, goals do win you games.
Yeah.
You've said on this podcast many times, John, that during your career, Arsenal didn't give your Chelsea team too many sleepless nights. Jose would be, he'd be up for it. You've said that. And I think it was Eden Hazard who spoke about it as well, that those Arsenal games, those Arsenal build-ups, Jose would come alive. He loved getting one over on Arsene Wenger. When you look at the two teams now, and it's a monster game at the Bridge on Sunday. We've talked about that Arsenal team. If I was to ask you, and it's a kind of well-trodden path, I see a lot of ex-pros do this, but if you were to merge the two teams, Enzo's Chelsea with Mikel's Arsenal. Yeah. How many Chelsea players truly get into that Arsenal team?
Yeah. Before I get into the team, I just want to talk about the build-up and the rivalry.
Yeah.
The week before we play Arsenal, or the week before we play Tottenham, or the week before we play Manchester United or Liverpool.
It's different.
It's different. It's a whole different ball game. It's like when you play all the teams, you're not playing the Premier League. The only time is like when we play the Premier League is when we play these clubs. Because these are the games we never want to lose. We never want to lose, whether we're playing at the Bridge or playing away. These are the games we never want. José Mourinho hates. When we finish the game against this big four and we come in the dressing room and we lost. It doesn't matter what. Either we win or we pick up a point. And that's something. So the build-up before this game, his whole mood changes.
Would it?
His face looks serious. He walks in the dressing room. He walks in the training ground. He's so focused in what he wants us to do, how he wants us to set the block, the defending, the attacking. Everything has to be spot on. During that week, there is no messing about in training. You have to be serious. If he sees you messing about, mate, you are...
No smile, it's business.
A little bit of smiling, but you have to, the training sessions is more details, sort of.
Interesting.
So the whole mood, not just the players, the physios, everybody mood has to be 100% switched on. And then that's what happens as well when we go in the tunnel. He's standing there at the tunnel looking at you thinking, is he going to fucking shake his hands? You shake an Arsenal player's hand. You are. He will probably pull you out straight away and say, go back in the fucking change. We don't look at them. We hated each other. From the press conference, of course, he gets into us and trying to, provoke us, and that's where he wins. He wins from the press conference, and he comes back to us and says, "Listen, I'll fucking go on that press conference and I've smashed Arsene Wenger. So it's your turn now, you guys." He
says that to you,
yeah,
John.
Of course he does. It's your turn now to go in the game and make sure that you fucking smash these guys. And he used to call them kids.
Did he? Go and smash these kids. Did
he used to call them kids. So what we do, we go there, we have to make sure they're very physical. Arsenal hated it when we always physical with them. When it's physical time, we're very physical. And when we have the ball also, we can play. So they hated that. We never gave them any spaces. So I love to see that. I love to see a bit of that rivalry come back, because that has gone out of the game. I hate when I'm about to watch an Arsenal game and Chelsea rivalry game. I see players hugging each other, shaking hands. What are you doing that for? Shaking hands and hugging an Arsenal player or a Tottenham player? Fucking hell. And then no, you want to go in there and kill that player.
Say you walked in. Oh, please, just stick with me on this. At halftime of an Arsenal game under Jose, if you walked in with like Thierry Henry's shirt, you see players today.
Oh my God.
You see players today switching shirts at halftime.
Oh my God.
If you strolled in with Thierry Henry with his shirt over your shoulder,
he will kick you out.
You'd be subbed.
Mourinho will kick you out. 100%, I'm sure about that.
And JT would probably lose.
He will kick you out, and JT will ask you, "What the fuck are you doing swapping shirt? We're losing 1-0 and you out there swapping shirt before you walk in the dressing room."
Yeah.
Mourinho, 100%. This, I'm sure he will kick you out of that dressing room. 100%. Mate, maybe the game has changed, but we just exactly what happened. The game against Spurs where we crossed the line. That's the game of the line.
The battle of the bridge.
The battle of the bridge. That will always go down as one of the craziest game ever, because I was in that game. I saw the stuff that happened, even the stuff that the camera didn't pick up. I saw it all. Players grabbing each other's, pulling it, like doing.
What?
Yeah, Diego Costa was doing that with. Every single minute with all the Spurs defenders, they were pulling each other's ears. They were grabbing everything to Diego Costa, stamping on defenders, to everything to provoke. That game was the line was crossed. Line was crossed 100%. And that was the rivalry, because we hated each other.
Yeah.
We hated. Now when I see players going in before the game, hugging each other and laughing and doing all that, I'm thinking, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? We need to get back to that place, not to cross the line, but we need to go back to that place whereby this is a rivalry game, this is the derby, and we have to approach it as a derby.
Yeah, right. On that basis, then now you've got me pumped up.
Got you pumped up for the game.
Pumped up. I'm just thinking of you strolling in.
Oh my God! Same way you stroll in, the same way you're gonna stroll back out of that dressing room.
Yeah, fucking turn around and get the fuck out. Talk to me though about Arsenal Chelsea. Then this kind of comparison. Truthfully, John, because Arsenal have, let's be honest about it, Arsenal are ahead of Chelsea right now.
Right now, yes.
In terms of their development.
Yeah.
How many
pains
Chelsea
me to say
players?
That, though, but
it pains kind of me to say that as well, strangely.
Yeah.
How many Chelsea players get in this Arsenal team when you look at it objectively?
I mean, if you have to create an 11, for the weekend between both teams, you're going to have to look at both two players in each position, isn't it? So,
I mean, I think we'd all agree.
We all agree that
David Raya.
Yeah, David Raya stays in goal. David Raya stays in goal. I've always said it. Sanchez, yes, does have a couple performances here and there. But if we are to win the Premier League, if we are to start competing, to win the Premier League or to finish in top 4, I just think we need a better top goalkeeper, a goalkeeper who, who's steady, who's calm, who's reliable. And that's something we had, obviously, with Cech. I keep saying, for me, one of the best goalkeepers that ever played in the Premier League. Always very calm, always very assured, and a keeper that when we see in the goal, we know, okay, we have there.
I don't think anyone would disagree with that. I actually think David Raya has been the best goalkeeper in the Premier League this season so far. Back 4. I think only one Chelsea player gets in my back 4. But what about you? Who's your back 4?
Of course, when you look at the centre-backs, we know the pairing, they're the best in the Premier League right now.
Gabriel and Saliba.
So there's no much Obviously, Levi Colwill has been doing well.
Fofana,
but I just think
Fofana,
both have been really good. But I just think those two are...
I agree.
Step ahead of both of them. And then, of course, you look at the right back. Obviously, is it between Reece James and Ben White? Listen, of course, when you talk about the current form, you have to say Ben White because he's been playing. Reece James he's been out. He's just come back in the team. He's just come back on the field of play. So, but when you talk about when both are fit and firing, of course, I'll say Reece James because for me, I think he's the better player. He's stronger. He's quicker. And of course, let's not forget, he offers you more going forward. You know, I remember just before he got injured, the delivery we used to see a bit like Trent, isn't it? The delivery, we haven't started to see that yet. But again, he's just come back. I think with time, he'll get there. But if you ask for current form, a player who's been playing, of course, you have to say Ben White. But a better player, for me, when they're both very fit and they're both firing, I'll go Reece James.
That's fair. Left back. Now, you could do one of two things here. You've got Calafiori, who's come in. Haven't seen much of him.
I haven't seen much of him.
You've got Julian Timber. You've got Marc Cucurella. Or, I'm throwing it out there.
Gusto.
Yeah. And I'll throw this one out there.
Yeah.
Levi Colwill to left back as an option as well. But who would get your vote?
But we're not moving players from the positions, are we?
To shoehorn a Levi.
You're trying to accommodate everybody, some players.
Essentially, what are we looking at? Calafiori, Timber, Cucurella, maybe Colwill. I'm just putting it out there.
Listen, if you want to move a centre back to if we have to move players out of the positions, of course, then I have to move Levi Colwill to left back. I think he's a better player.
Could do well.
I think he's a better player than.
If you weren't allowed to do that, if you weren't allowed to do that, so Timber, Calafiori, or Cucurella, who would get your vote?
Timber, Calafiori, and Cucurella. Oof. Listen, like you said, I haven't seen much of Calafiori. No. I don't think we've seen much of him. Yes, he scored the goal against City, but haven't seen much of him. No. Hasn't played much. Timber as well, just came back from injury. But when you can see signs that Timber is a good player, you know, when he plays, he's a proper player. You know, he's good on the ball, he's quick, he's strong. And of course, Cucurella is somebody's Mr. Dependable, isn't it? You know, so for me, you know, if I have to go with that, I'll probably put Cucurella there.
Yeah.
I'll put a Chelsea
player. Okay, so we've got
there.
Chelsea
Cucurella.
players in. Yeah. Midfield 2. I think for me, there's only two obvious ones.
Midfield 2, definitely Caicedo gets in there for me.
Yes.
I think Caicedo gets in.
I'd agree with that. I think he's been Chelsea's best player this season so far. Yeah. And who alongside him?
And of course, I'll say, listen, Latvia's coming lately. He's been performing well. But of course, Declan Rice has been, you know, he's been fantastic. So I'll go Declan Rice.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. The man that plays just in front, here's where we might disagree. Because you've already referenced this fella on this edition of the podcast. Martin Odegaard. Does he get in this team if it means pushing Cole Palmer in the wider positions?
Why you keep pushing everybody out of the position?
I'm just trying to get a team that features my favourite players.
No, we have to.
So there's no Odegaard in this team.
Yes, we have to make sure we keep the players in their position, and we have to.
So no Odegaard.
Yeah, for me, if you have to pick right now, no, there's only one choice.
Cole Palmer.
Cole Palmer stays in that position as a number 10. Yeah. Listen, Odegaard is a fantastic player. I've said it. He's the one player. He's the missing piece for Arsenal right now. And that's why Arsenal's form has not been great because they're missing Odegaard. He is the key of that team because everything goes around him. Same like Rodri. The importance of Rodri in Man City side is same importance as Odegaard to the Arsenal team. But if I have to pick between him and Cole Palmer, I'll take Cole Palmer.
So you're not putting Palmer right, you're not putting Palmer left to fit Odegaard?
We've said it. If Palmer plays on the side, he's lost. Yeah. And we don't want him to be lost.
Okay, fine.
He stays in that
You're
middle.
the boss.
Yeah.
So no Martin Odegaard. He's on the bench.
Yeah.
Wide right.
Wide right, obviously. We've said it, you know, Noni Madueke has been having a great season, but
he's been good. He has been good.
Yeah, he's been good. But lately, I've seen some criticism. People saying he's not been performing well since he scored the goals against Wolves.
His defensive work
has improved.
Much improved.
Sometimes when your defensive work improves, it takes away a little bit of your attacking ability. So
Saka gets your vote then.
I think, yeah. I think on correct form and, I think Noni Madueke or Saka, Saka gets my vote, yes. Saka.
Wide left, this is going to be an interesting one, because if you'd listened to me, Cole Palmer left, Martin Odegaard 10, and we'd be done with it. Because I think wide left, John, we're going to end up putting a player in there. Who are we looking at? Sancho, Neto, Martinelli. None of them have been...
Brilliant, isn't it? Yeah.
No, so there's an issue here. Or do we... You're going to not like this. Do we drop Havertz there to fit the big man? I don't know. Who are you playing wide left? Who do you want in there?
Oh, wide left. Martinelli, Pedro Neto. Pedro Neto just come to the club. He hasn't started.
Sancho.
Performing. Sancho,
I can see the cogs turning now, John. Now you're thinking, shit, I need to push Palmer.
No. Sancho's come into the football club. He's had a couple of brilliant games. Hasn't been starting again lately.
Well, he was obviously couldn't because of the loan agreement.
Oh, yes. True on that. But that's a tough one, that. I just think from last season, this season, if you have to choose between those three, then, of course, Martinelli gets it. Martinelli gets it. Sancho hasn't played for a while. Neto hasn't started performing for the club the way we think he should. There is a player there, we believe that. But if you have to pick, Martinelli gets the vote.
So here's the big one.
I don't want to get involved in this. You pick this.
Well, if you want me to pick, I could. Kai Havertz or Nicholas Jackson. Two very different players.
Yeah, I think on current form, I think, yeah. If you're playing Cole Palmer, I think the partnership that Nicholas Jackson had with Cole Palmer, I think Nicholas Jackson get my vote as well. So, I think that's the team there. Yeah,
that is a decent team. So you've got Jackson, you've got Palmer, you've got Caicedo, you've got Cucurella, and you've got James. So you've actually got 5 Chelsea players. That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's better. That's more. That's more than I had. Because for what it's worth, I had Palmer, and you played the game, so you know this. I had Palmer wide left, out of position slightly, to get Odegaard in, and I too would start Jackson.
Yeah,
I too would, because Havertz, as good as he is, he's tapered off a little bit, and yes, he creates. He doesn't score enough for me, but Jackson starts with Palmer.
Yeah.
He gets it on merit.
He gets it.
And then manager, Arteta or Maresca. You can answer this, not me.
Listen, I think Maresca, from what he's done in a short space of time, he's just coming for the short space of time, and he's been able to manage to get the team. Now we have an identity of how we play. That's something that's been missing from the club for a very long time. And he's come back. Now there is an identity. We're solid. We look good. But again, I have to say it. We have to start beating or picking up points from the big clubs, from the big teams. Because if we keep winning against the smaller teams or the so-called smaller teams, it's not going to be enough for us to get into the top 4.
Yeah.
So we have to start picking up points. Not saying all 3 points, a point here and there, a point here and there. This will count come towards the end of the season. So we need to start picking up points from the big boys. Yes, we drew against United. But we've lost against City and we lost against Liverpool. This is another massive big test for us. So if we don't win, we can pick up a point.
Yeah. Okay, John, final one from me. I'll circle all the way back. What was George Weah like? Legend. You caught up with him at the Ballon d'Or. I've got to ask, former Chelsea striker as well.
Yeah.
Were you in
and former president of Liberia as well.
Yeah.
Probably the first footballer who's done that. Ex-footballer.
Did you bow to him? Did you? How was it?
No, fantastic guy. George is amazing. I've met George a few times, and every time I meet him, he's a massive big brother, top player, legend of the game. Somebody who did so much for the game, achieved so much as well. The only African player that's won the Ballon d'Or so far. And I think that I would like to see that record get broken anytime soon. But that's a massive, that's a record. That's something that's going to stand for a while. But fantastic guy, fantastic human being, a guy who has time for everybody. I think when he walked in, everybody was like, ooh, George Weah. And everybody had to go. Sometimes now people call him the Presido. People call him Presido. But he's still humble. He still has time for everybody.
What a guy.
Always smiling, always, speaking well about, African football and football in general as well. So, he went up there and congratulated all the winners So should everybody.
Class.
But Judge Weah is always a class act.
Yeah, and we might just have him on the pod one day. You never know. That is it for Taking the Mikel. It's great to be back. Thank you all for your time and your patience. John's just a busy boy. Be in sports. He's talking in Saudi
There's nothing busier than the Obi podcast. This is number one.
You're a busy boy, John. You're far busier than me. Right, just want to mark your card. Brand new Obi-Wan podcast made possible by bet winner Eddie Hearn. Yes, that's right, Matchroom CEO. We're mixing things up. He's the next episode of the podcast. Please do subscribe to us. Please tell your mum, your dad, your aunties, your uncles, your brothers and sisters about us as well. Give us a rating, subscribe, and we'll be back again with another edition of Taking the Mikel. For now though, Johnny boy, thank you.
Cheers, mate.